I've been using Docker for a long time, but I never actually followed the tutorial to learn it, or I haven't checked out any online courses about it. I just learned it by using it in projects. And now, and I've been using Cursor a lot lately, so I thought it might be a good use case to try to use Cursor to learn Docker. By learning, I mean I'd like to see how Cursor, guides me through the process, and let's see how Cursor explains the topics, the use, how Docker works actually. So I created these small sections. So we'll ask first what's Docker to Cursor, and I will try the famous prompt explain like I'm five, and we'll try to Dockerize a Node app. It will be really a simple app, even maybe a console log app, because here we're just trying to see how Cursor shows us how to Dockerize an app. And finally, I will try to use Docker Compose. Okay, um, so let's start with what's Docker on the Cursor IDE. I have it here. Um, I just created a new TypeScript project with an index.js file with a simple console log. And I have Cursor here, the chat. I'm using Claude, I suppose, Claude 3.5 Sonnet. That's the model I'm using, and you can choose any of these. I think it will do fine, but I'll be using this. And yeah, okay, let's start. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. I think this is better. So, okay. Let's start a new chat on Cursor and ask, what is Docker? Okay. And I won't read everything it says, but I will try to summarize it. Okay, it's giving me an answer right now. That's good. So, Docker is a platform for developing, shipping, and running applications in an isolated environment called containers. Okay, and it has given me a Docker file. Node, since I'm using, this is a Node app, it has given me a Docker file to run a Node app. And it's given me a Docker file and also Docker Compose, but what I need here actually is a more beginner-friendly answer. So I'm gonna ask one more time. Yeah, it explains containers, images, Docker file. Okay, let's ask in more detail. Give me a more beginner-friendly answer. First, explain the terminology. Then we can get into Docker Compose. Docker files. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so what is Docker? Yeah, I think this answer is a bit similar to what we're gonna get on Explain Like I'm Five, but maybe not that simple, but let's read it through. Think of Docker like a shipping container for your code. It's like shipping containers can carry different things, but all fit on the same ship. Docker containers can run different apps, but work on any computer. Okay, and you probably have seen that Docker has this ship analogy in the logo. You probably have seen it. We have it on the slide. So here it's it's a ship with containers, and it's like a ship in the sea which has containers in it. And Docker is the system that runs containers, right? Okay, let's go back to Cursor. All right, like a mini computer inside your computer has everything your app needs to run. Code, runtime, system tools, completely isolated from other containers. Okay, one container for your Node.js app, and for your database image think of it as a blueprint or template for containers. So images are used to create containers. Like a frozen container that can create copies of itself. Like I feel like we can think of it as we have classes on object-oriented programming, and we create instances of that class. So image is just a template that we create containers off of. Example, the official Node.js image, MongoDB image. Yeah. And there's Docker Hub. Docker Hub is just a place that you can get images, right? Like GitHub, but for Docker images. Okay, real world analogy. Image, blueprint of a house. Container, actual house built from that blueprint. Actually, I just noticed, I'm wondering if you see that part. So maybe, okay, like this. So it should be easier to see now. Because at the bottom right, you see me, but the actual content is the one you should see. Real world analogy image, blueprint of a house. Container, actual house built from that blueprint. Okay. Now we have a house analogy rather than a ship with containers. Docker Hub, library of house blueprints. Okay. Docker, the construction company that builds and manages these houses. So the underlying engine that runs the containers. Okay. If that looks good, this is better than what we got in our first try. I think we can continue with explain like I'm fine prompt. I'm curious what we will get. So explain like I'm 5. Let's see what we get. Super simple. And Docker is like a lunchbox. Imagine you're taking lunch to school. Lunchbox is like a Docker container. Lunchbox is like a Docker container. Keeps your food separate from everyone else's. Everything you need for lunch is inside. Works the same way at home, at school, or at park. Okay, that's nice. So works the same way at home, at school, or at the park. So home, school, and park are different environments, whether it's like on a remote server on the cloud or on your computer at home or on an end device like a Raspberry Pi even. Why this is why is this cool? Let's say you want to share your favorite sandwich with friends without Docker. You need the same bread, knife, everything I have at home. Okay. Docker, here's my lunchbox. It has everything you need. Okay. That's cool. You write some code on your computer, put it in a Docker lunchbox. Now it works exactly the same on any computer. I think it's good. That's it. Docker just makes sure you got everything as it needs. So it's prompting me to create like Dockerize an application here, and that's what we will do next. Dockerize a Node app, Docker Compose. Okay, so I don't have an app at the moment. This is a small, like this contains a console log, but I think I can ask Cursor to create a couple of functions so that we have an actual program running. So let's do it. Let's select all and I will edit. Create a program to calculate the even numbers between 100 and 10. It's really simple. Okay, we'll just create, yeah, simple as that. Array from length 57, 51. Yeah, it's a bit like let's give the input at least lower and upper bounds. I will provide the lower and upper bounds. So it will create a function, right? And we can try to run it first. Let's try. Let's npm. We can run it with node source index.ts. No. Do we have any error? Npm run build. No errors. Node library. Let's run the JavaScript file. Yeah, something off with running with Node. Not sure why. So we got the even numbers between 0 and 100. Okay, so this could be considered as an app. And let's try to Dockerize this. Let's Dockerize my app. Okay, so we need two files. Docker file, package. I already have a package JSON, and it has given me a Docker file. Okay. Yeah, what's happening? Explain me the Docker file. From. Let's do it like this. Better, I think. From. So from work there, copy, run, copy, and we have these commands. From starts with Node.js in a tiny Alpine, I suppose that's how it's pronounced. Alpine Linux. From where creates and moves to the app directory. So I want to learn more about the commands in detail. Explain the commands in Docker file. Yeah, let's break down, yes. Get Node.js image based on a tiny Alpine Linux. Okay, so this is the image we're using. Okay. Set working directory inside container, and we got the image, and now we'll use the container that is created off of that image. We change the directory into app. Okay, this could be anything else, right? Copy just package files first. Helps with build caching. If dependencies haven't changed, Docker will use cache layer. Okay. Package JSON, and we copied it. This is our file. Copy package JSON, and we copy this into the container that is created, and we install dependencies. Okay, now we're running command. These commands are run inside the container, right? I mean, run. Okay, that may not be true all the time, because from is that this is actually commands of the Docker file. But run, any command you give after run is run inside the container. npm install, we install dependencies. Copy everything else from your project. First dot and second dot. And this first dot is in the current directory on your computer, our environment, and the second dot is the target, which is the container. Command to run when container starts. So we run our app finally. npx ts node. So we can also use we can first create compile the TypeScript, have the JavaScript, and run that using Node also. But here it uses npx. I want to learn more about this cmd default command when container starts. Okay, interesting. Default command, yeah. Sets environment variable. We don't have any environment variables at the moment. Okay, let's see what the pro tips are. Order matters. Put things that change less often first. Interesting. Use docker ignore to exclude files and not modules. Run executes during build. CMD executes when container starts. Like I'm learning things I didn't know before. Run executes during build. Like build is like building the container. But CMD is run when the container is built and ready to run commands. And what you give by using CMD is run at that time. Can only have one CMD. Last one wins. Okay, I'm not interested in adding a docker ignore at the moment. Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's create the command, and I think we can do it with cursor, right? Docker file. Yeah. There you go. We got a Docker file. That's good. I will accept your suggestion. Thank you. Okay, so we got our Docker file, and yeah, good. But I want to use this file, right? It's not created for nothing. Like, how can I use this file? What's next? So we got the file. What's next? run your Dockerized app. Okay, Docker build. Let's try this. You have to have Docker installed for this. I already have it, so I will use it. Okay. And here you can also run commands in Cursor. Run. All right, so the Docker daemon is not running. I have to run it first. Try again. All right. Docker build number generator, and it's building my Docker container, and it's pulling the image from this address, node 18. Here we can see it. So the work directory has been changed to app. Package.json has been copied. We run npm install, we copied, exporting to image. So we have our own image as well. Exporting layers, okay. After running this, is the container running at the moment? I wonder. Yeah, okay, of course. Like we even see the numbers first. I thought we just built the container but didn't run it first, but yeah, we run it because like this builds the container. Sorry, build your Docker image. Okay, yeah, build your Docker image and run the image. Run it in a container using that image, right? Number generator should be the name of the image, right? What's the name of the image? Number generator, yeah. What's this dot? Like, I wonder what's this dot? Explain this command. What's the dot? Yeah. Command to build Docker image. T tag, it says. I thought it's target. Flag for tag. Naming your image. This is my image. Path to your Docker file. Okay, path to my Docker file. Since I'm running this command in the current directory and I have the Docker file in the current directory, I have dots. Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right, so okay, we have gone over what's Docker, explain like I'm 5, and we Dockerize our app. And I want to learn about Docker Compose now. So we don't have a complex app, like it's really simple. So Docker Compose, as far as I see it in projects I worked on, it's mostly used on like more complex projects. So, but we will give it a try. We will give it a try. Got it. Nice explanation. We will continue. Thanks. Yeah, multi-stage builds. Explain Docker Compose. Docker Compose lets you run multiple containers and configure them together. Think of it as a recipe for your entire app setup. Yeah, it's a good explanation. We have a Docker Compose file. Yeah, like it's, let's say in your app, like it's a Node.js app, and for example, you connect to a database like MongoDB, or it could be local. MongoDB could be local as well. It could be a PostgreSQL, and you have to have that database running as well in your Docker environment. So in that case, you can use Docker Compose to like yeah, as ChatGPT Cursor is explaining here, and like bundle them together, configure them, and run them together. This is our Docker Compose file. I want more details about the file and explain the Docker Compose file. breakdown, yeah. Version we have. This is a Docker Compose version. And we define our containers and services here. So app is the first container built using local Docker file, and we still use a Docker file, but now we have multiple Docker files combined, like configured together in a Docker Compose file. So ports, like these are the ports this container will accept connections and requests. Volumes, we never talked about volumes. I think we need to talk about it with Cursor. Sync current directory to app in container. Okay, depends on. So this container depends on DB, which is also another container here. Set service here. Wait for DB to start first. Environment, some environment variables. We don't have it in our app. Second service name DB, okay, and it's MongoDB, the latest image of MongoDB. Got the ports and volumes. Okay, we will learn about volumes, but first, how do we use a Docker Compose file? How do we run it? Like we already see it with Docker Compose. Yeah, Docker Compose up. Yeah, running background, different options here. Start only the app service. Yeah, you have this option. Down, you can stop and remove all containers. Okay, that's good. Okay, in our app, we don't have a database or something, so I won't use the Docker Compose to run our app. We will just learn about the volume. So what's a volume? Volume is a Docker way of persisting data. Think of it like a USB drive for your containers. It's like the storage of the container, right? Without volumes, when a container stops, all its data disappears. So yeah, so when you run a container and you stop it, the data is persisted on that volume, and when you run it again, the data is just retrieved and used. Volumes solve this by storing data outside the contain types of volumes. So I didn't know there were different types of volumes. Named volumes, most common. So this is the name of the volume. Okay. Name volumes. Bind mounts. Bind mount. Interesting. For development. I never needed to use these like in my workflow. I never needed to like, I haven't created much Docker Compose files. I didn't need to Dockerize much apps projects. But yeah, I'm learning about these first time here. Bind mounts for development. Okay, anonymous volumes also. There are okay, temporary databases persist data. Of course, if you have a database and you have like for example in MongoDB you create some documents in it and the next day you run your app again, you want to see those documents, right? So with volumes this is possible. Okay, so this is volumes. We will learn about it. And yeah, I think we discussed a lot. Also seeing Docker Compose. I'm seeing that the Cursor, the Claude model has been useful explaining Docker. Yeah, I think this is a good start. It's a good start. Like if you have an app, could be complex. You may have already maybe that you've been working on it for some time, like a month, and you want to Dockerize it. You can just say, how can I Dockerize my app in Cursor? And you can do this on ChatGPT as well, on LLMs. And it will give you the Docker file. And if you want to use Docker Compose, you can have that as well. You can get the commands to run it. Yeah, I think it's really useful.